everybody, I'm Julia and this is Alejandra, and we're on my talk show and we're here to talk about The Glass Castle. Alejandra has recently read this book and she's going to tell us a little bit about it. So, can you give us a brief summary about what this book was about?
So, The Glass Castle is about this author, and her name's Jeannette Walls. And so it's a memoir of her life, her childhood, and how she found ways to come out from the bottom and become the person she is now. And so at the beginning of the book, it says that she was on her way to a party, and she was in a taxi, and she looked out the window and saw her mom digging the dumpsters, and she was afraid her secret would be out. So this is the way how she pretty much told everyone her secret, which telling her childhood from the beginning to the end and how she became from no one to somebody in her life. So her family moved a lot. The dad couldn't keep a job, was an alcoholic. He was barely sober half the time in the book. Mom and dad had no motivation to do anything because of the lack of money, and their lifestyle was horrible. They had no money, also had shortage of food, and money was also blown on stuff they didn't need and on dad's alcohol. The children also wanted to be someone in life, get out of their scrappy lifestyle. They were really bright, which was very helpful in the long run. So at the beginning of the book, they move from place to place because they don't have any money, they can't afford the rent. They, I don't know, they just somehow always try to overcome that. But then there were times where they were cold, they were just in really bad conditions, I guess. So then the dad was also an alcoholic, which caused many problems. He would get off of it and then days later disappear and come back drunk. And also Jeannette had 3 siblings, Brian, Laurie, and Maureen. And then it was Jeannette. And they always... So, as I said, like, they moved from place to place. So they were Arizona, then they moved to Welch. But then it was Laurie, her sister, was a really good artist. And at the school, some famous people, artists, found out Laurie's, just her talents. So then they told her to move to New York. And so after her junior year, she moved to New York. And Laurie convinced Jeannette, so that was the turning point when Jeannette moved to New York. So that really helped her because she was really, really smart, so she got her first job there. She pretty much started blooming in New York. She found her first husband, divorced him, but then found the love of her life and married him. And somehow all of them ended up there, and that was where they all became someone and had the legit lifestyle they've been wanting all their lives.
So, what do you think this book's purpose was? Like, what did Jeannette want people to get out of this book?
To teach people to never give up, just like Jeannette did with all of her obstacles, to explain her rough childhood, and to teach people life lessons, like to get out of the book, like, things that she went through. Like, if she went through all of that and became someone, anyone can. I think that was the purpose of the book. Jeannette is here with us today, and she is going to explain the 3 quotes I have for her from The Glass Castle fully and with each detail of that quote. Okay, so hi, it's Jeannette, and the quote from Years From Now, when all the junk they got is broken and long forgotten, you'll still have your stars, is a quote that my dad said when it was Christmas time, if I remember, and I was 5 years old, and my dad, we didn't have much money to afford any presents, so he took me out to the desert, and he told me to pick a star. So I picked Venus, and I didn't know it was a star, so it was a planet, obviously, and it was the brightest one there, so that's why I picked it, because it just stood out for me. And my dad said I could keep it as long as I wanted it. I could always see it, and it would remind me of him. So that's what the quote means, and definitely that was my favorite part of my childhood, was when my dad took me to the desert and I picked out Venus as the star. A quote, and this is my dad said it, and it's about me being his favorite child. And it's, "I swear, honey, there are times when I think you're the only one around who still has faith in me. I don't know what I'd do if you ever lost it." So, I don't know. I love my dad. I've always loved him. And I've always think about him now that he passed away. But, I don't know. He told me that I was his favorite child, and I mean, I loved him. And he made me swear that I couldn't tell Brian, Lori, or Maureen. So that was a little secret. And I promised myself then, when he told me that I would never lose faith in him either.
So, did you like the book?
Yes, I loved it. It was probably one of my favorite books. It's like, it's a real book. It's like it really happened. So, so it's nonfiction autobiography about her childhood, and it's like it says like everything with detail. I liked it a lot.
So, why did you like it?
So as I said, like it was just like she was narrating the whole book, so it's coming from her opinions, and it was really good. I liked it.
Okay, what was one thing that you learned that you didn't know before?
I liked how, I thought it was interesting how Jeanette's family always somehow found a way to bring money home. Tried everything to survive the hot days in Arizona and those bitter winters in Welch. And also I loved how Jeanette was the head of the family for one summer. Like she was so mature, and she was always like the one that always thought the most in the family.
Mm-hmm. So, would you recommend this book to
young adults and people who need a little bit of just like understanding of life and how like other people struggle and they have everything, and meanwhile other people are just dying of how poor they are.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. So, what did you learn from this book? What did you take out of it?
I learned that combining alcoholism and and having a poor lifestyle is not a good combo. Just how like the dad, when they had money, he would just steal it and like not tell the kids, and the kids would be starving, and he would be out in bars just drinking and coming back a few days later just all drunk. I also learned that I'm very grateful for my life, and I have a childhood that I like had everything pretty much, and other people, like I'm grateful for that. And just how like Jeanette went through all of it on her own, it makes me feel that she can do it, everyone can do it, so like you never give up.
Yeah, so she like proved that even though you start at someplace not good, you can always come up and like make something better for your life.
Yeah, so she always tried to find a way to become a better person, and she did. She became a writer.
How do you think Jeanette handled every situation she was put through?
Very maturely. She thought it over and thought if it was the right thing to do, and she always wanted the best for her family.
So, on the cover, there's a girl telling this other kid a secret. What does that mean?
So, the cover, as you can see, it says The Glass Castle, and it's, I'm assuming it's pretty much Jeanette's family has a lot of secrets. So, like every family does. So that's pretty much saying that her life is full of secrets. And like how she said in the beginning of the book that she saw her mom digging through the dumpster, like that pretty much explains that something's up with her life. And the Glass Castle was a promise that her dad made to the kids, that he was going to make a castle made out of glass in the desert, which never happened. But that was his promise to them that it was going to happen, but it never did. So, Jeanette Wallis is a famous author and who has also written many books, but The Glass Castle is one of them. She pours her heart out and her soul in it, explaining her rough childhood and all the hurdles she had to overcome to become a successful author in New York. She came from a very poor family, and strength and courage is what helped her become the person she is today. So Jeanette Wallis right now lives in New York City on Long Island, and she is married to John Taylor, who is also a writer. And so she is a daily contributor to MSNBC.com.
Thanks, Alejandra, for coming and talking to us about this book. That's it for today. Thanks, folks.
Bye-bye.